Order meeting of Clear Lake City Council of Monday, May 16, 2022 shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Mike, that we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same. Motion carries. To the consent agenda, you have a copy of the minutes of May 2nd, 2022. We need approval of the bills and claims, of which you also have a copy. We have the following licenses and permits: liquor license, Class C, liquor license with outdoor service, Fiddler's Lounge. Class C, liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales, Lakeside Landing. Class B, wine permit, Weathered Elements. Class C, liquor license, K&B Emporium. Class C, liquor license with Sunday sales, Cancun by the Lake. Class C, liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales, Sunset Sharkies. Those are all renewals. Class B, wine permit with Sunday sales, Happy Wife Wine Slushies. That's new. We have a cigarette permit, Randy's Neighborhood Market, Dollar General. Those are both renewals. Street closing requests, Clear Lake Chamber, Thursdays on Main, June 2nd through August 18th, excluding June 30th. And the Twin City F100 Club Truck Show, June 10th and 11th. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Dana. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Now is the time and place for any citizen in the audience who wishes to address the council on any issue or concern that is not on the agenda. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address so the clerk can properly enter in the minutes. This is not a discussion time nor a question and answer time, and you have 3 to 5 minutes. Not appearing, we'll move on to number 5, unfinished business, of which we have none. We'll go to number 6, new business. A, seawall rehabilitation improvement project, a review of pay estimate number 1 and change order number 2. Mr. Flory, welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, refer to these items in your packet. The first one is the blue sheet. As the mayor indicated, that's pay estimate number 1 for the seawall rehabilitation improvement project. You'll note there the current payment due for this pay estimate number 1 is $74,580.98. Then we have the 5% retainage on this as well. So the next sheet, on the back side of that, you'll see the work that's been done that itemizes out to that dollar amount. You see mobilization was a large portion of that, but also masonry cleaning, tuck pointing, stone replacement, et cetera, was all included as part of that pay estimate number 1. As the mayor mentioned, also change order number 2. If you recall, change order number 1 was when we increased the amount of the tuck pointing and mortaring that we're doing on the project. And that was in the amount of $39,000, that first change order. So this is change order number 2, and this is for that sidewalk that's on the south side of the seawall that's pretty badly beaten up and deteriorated. So got a estimate from TNT, again, the contractor for the project, to replace that sidewalk, again, on the south side of the seawall. And you can read the specifications in the description work that's identified on the change order number 2. So that change order would be $13,440. So just, again, as a reminder, the original contract amount was $186,930. Then we had our first change order that we increased the amount of work that we're going to do in terms of the tuck pointing. That was by $39,000. So that brought the contract amount up to $225,930. And then this is the second change order, so that would add another $13,440. So the total new contract amount, including the previously approved change order and this change order, would be $239,370. So again, I don't know if anyone has any questions on either of those. I did lay out tonight at your table there just some color pictures that the contractor, Josh with TNT, took with some drone footage there, just to give you an idea of how things are going down there. You know, several of us have been down there many times, talking to the contractor, looking at the work, and it's coming along really well. So I'm excited about it. I think they're still on schedule to be completed on or around Memorial Day, so very positive. Anything further in terms of any items on that, unless anybody has any questions?
Cuts, any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Therefore, entertain a motion to approve pay estimate number 1 and change order number 2 with regard to the seawall rehabilitation improvement project. And pay estimate number 1 is in the amount of $74,580.98. And the change order, as Scott said, is $13,440. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Mark, that we approve pay estimate number 1 and change order number 2. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same. Carries 5-0. 6B, 700 block Buddy Holly Place Alley Improvement Project. Intro, Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The white sheets in your packet address this item, professional services agreement from Veenster and Kim for, as Nelson indicated, the 700 block of Buddy Holly Place Alley Improvement Project. If you recall, we talked about this at your meeting on April 18th, and then it was discussed again at a subsequent council meeting following some citizen forum input on May 2nd. And then it was determined at that meeting to bring the proposal back again with some revisions on it. So the project's been revised based on the input that we got from the council at that May 2nd council meeting. So the proposal now would be to bid the project both with PCC and HMA paving alternates, and then also reducing some of the additional transition pavement that was lying just outside of the city right-of-way there. So we've eliminated that to reduce some potential cost to the city. So also, our 2022 street resurfacing project, we had discussed combining this with that bid letting. It would be bid with that HMA portion of that project, but we'd also bid it separately as a standalone PCC project as well. So the anticipated bid letting date for that would be July 27th. Just in terms of the estimated cost of the project, now it's revised down to $68,000. So you've got, again, a revised proposal there for professional services in your packet, and Jason Petersburg with Veenster and Kim is on the phone, so he can review that here just in a moment with you. But as I mentioned, the bid opening we're anticipating for July 27th, and we come back to the council on August 1st for an award of contract. Follow that up with approval of the contract and bonds at your meeting on August 15th. And we anticipate probably beginning construction towards the end of August, September timeframe, and then completion probably towards the end of October, early November. So I don't have anything further in terms of my comments on that, and Jason can review the scope of services on the professional services agreement unless anyone has any questions for me.
Questions for Scott, council? Thank you, Scott. Welcome, Jason. Review of proposal. Jason Petersburg, V&K Engineering. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Scott gave a pretty good background on that. We did go through this proposal at your April 18th meeting. As you said, it was discussed at your May 2nd meeting as well. So changes to the original proposal. We did review the cost as far as where we could reduce some costs in this project. And it was agreed that we would reduce some of the paving adjacent to the alley, tying in or transitioning into the existing paving or existing properties. And there was one property that's going to be demolished and the new build is going to be done, so we're putting no transition paving in there. So we were able to bring the cost down a little bit on this project. Like you said, plans to bid asphalt and concrete. We'll have the bids due at the same day, the same time. The asphalt bid will be submitted with the surfacing project as an alternate, and then the concrete bid will be submitted as a standalone project. We'll open them a half hour apart or so. So generally speaking, same project, concrete and asphalt will be bid, and we're still looking at getting them constructed this year. Questions
Council, any questions for Jason?
I guess I've got one, Councilman Callahan here. I notice 6-inch thick PCC curb and gutter as a line item here. Was there any curb and gutter on the new PCC alley behind the Buddy Holly businesses?
We did have just a little bit, on the ends where we replaced the driveway approaches to the streets. That's where the curb and gutter is. It's on the streets where we put the driveway approaches.
Okay, so this is just a feature tying it into the connecting streets.
Correct.
Okay.
Same scope, same type of improvement.
All right, yeah, I'm just trying to clarify that in my own mind. Thank you.
Any other questions, council? Jason, we're about to approve the professional services agreement, and I believe I'm correct in stating that this is not to exceed $4,200, is that right?
No. The design was 7,300 and the construction phase is not to exceed 4,200.
All right, okay, 7,300, that's better, right?
For design.
Yeah, so the combined amount would be the 7,300 for
That'd be
design and then
combined,
the
yeah.
4,200 not to exceed for construction services. So generally, we kind of monitor the project and we'll work on that separately with Veenster and Kim on that. Usually we do that following the awarded contract, find out who the contractor is, but as Nelson said, so the first phase is 7,300, that's the design and bid phase, and then the next phase would be the construction services at the, I think it was 4,200,
Okay, okay.
not to exceed. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, therefore, I entertain a motion to approve the professional services agreement with V&K with regard to the 700 block Buddy Holly Place Alley Improvement Project. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Bennett, that we approve the professional service agreement with B&K. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. 6C, Joint Comprehensive Plan, Clear Lake, Saragordo County, and Mason City. Review, Mr. Flory.
Thanks again, Mayor, Council. These are yellow sheets in your packet. The much anticipated comprehensive plan, joint comprehensive plan with Mason City and Saragordo County that seems like I've been talking about for about the last 8 months, because I think we have. So we finally got the proposal from RDG negotiated out. Took a little longer than we anticipated with the other entities, and then we've also, for good measure, thrown in a nonprofit to kind of help coordinate this for us. So we've got 3 governmental entities and a 501c6 organization kind of helping steer this one. So again, as I mentioned numerous times previously, this is an update for the City of Clear Lake to our 2008 comprehensive plan that was prepared by RDG back then. The county has a comprehensive plan that dates a little further back than that, and Mason City's is about a similar vintage here as well. So again, this would be an individualized comprehensive plan for all of the partners that are involved in this. The lead entity coordinating it on our behalf would be the North Iowa Corridor EDC. So our contract would be with the North Iowa Corridor EDC, so we would essentially pay them, RDG would invoice the corridor, and then each entity would pay their respective totals to the North Iowa Corridor EDC for our share of the comprehensive plan. You'll see there on like that first, second, third page there, that we've talked about this many, many times, but Clear Lake's share of that will be $99,000, Mason City $135,000, and Saragordo County $56,000, so about a $250,000 project. So you can see in the green sheets kind of the scope. Again, it's not probably unfamiliar to you of what RDG would be doing. A lot of town hall meetings, citizens engagements, very pivotal component of this particular effort. So a number of workshops, website, and so forth devoted to that. But again, it addresses a number of topics, for example, housing, parks, land use, transportation, those kinds of things. And also we had some add-ons, got some special requests that we wanted RDG to take a look at for us, and so did the other partners. But in our case, we asked them to particularized look at US 18 corridor through Clear Lake, the downtown area around City Park, and the circulation area was another, for traffic was another area that we asked them to take a look at. So this is approved tonight by Clear Lake, then Mason City, then the county. We'll probably start this around July, probably around the RAGBRAI time. We think that's an opportunity. Maybe there'll be a lot of people here with Mason City hosting RAGBRAI that we might start thinking about setting up some opportunities for citizen input and engagement around that event too. So I don't have anything further unless anybody has any questions.
Questions of Scott? But our last one was what, our individual one was 2008?
Yep.
So this timing is perfect.
Pretty good, yep.
Yeah.
Thinking back, I guess I was on board for the 2008
You were,
plan.
yeah.
It's not burning clearly in my mind.
It's not one of the more exciting things.
Yeah, well, if I do recall, it was a solo effort in
It
terms of just Clear Lake, and this one would be a cooperative effort with a couple of the other major governmental entities in the county, of course.
Right.
And I guess I feel that's a positive thing because in the time I have been on the council, which to some people is starting to feel like eons, but and maybe me too, but we worked pretty hard to try to look at the concept of doing things regionally and cooperate a little more with the other people to the east there. So this hopefully will shed some light on a lot of those different things.
Yeah, and this is another one of those, we did a intercity visit here a while ago over to Dubuque, I think a couple of years ago by now, and they had undertaken a pretty similar comprehensive planning effort with cities in their county, and so it seemed like a good idea. We talked to their city officials and community leaders at the time, stakeholders, and they talked pretty highly of it, so we thought it seemed to make sense for us, and we have a good relationship with both the county and Mason City, so seemed to be of interest to all of us.
Any other comments, questions, Council?
Yes, just real quick, Mayor. Is it also more economical, Scott, to do it this way or not really?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know, it's hard to say. We've got several, you heard me talk about this many, many times, so I hate to bore you again with it, but we went through a pretty long request for qualification process here, and I think we interviewed, it could be 12 firms as part of that. I know I've said this before, but I think we wound up with 3 or 4 proposals ultimately, and believe it or not, this was the least costly of the proposals. So, yeah, I don't know if it was advantageous that way. I thought it might be a little less expensive, but I guess I'm out of touch on that. So.
All right, thank you very much.
One last comment. I always grumble about these things sitting on the shelf and gaining 3 inches of dust over 5 years of time. And with all 3 of us together, we may not have that opportunity to let them lay that long again. So anyway, here we go. Thank you, Scott. Entertain a motion to approve professional service agreement with RDG with regard to the joint comprehensive plan between Clear Lake, Saragordo County, and Mason City, please. Motion?
So, second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Dana, that we approve the joint comprehensive plan with RDG. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries. 6D, hotel feasibility study with Paytech Hospitality Consultants Review. Scott.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. These are the orange sheets in your packet addressing this particular item, as the mayor indicated. Proposal for a hotel feasibility study that would be done here. So as I mentioned to you previously, we've had some conversation with the North Iowa Cultural Center and Museum. Many of them are here this evening, as well as the owners of the Surf Ballroom about a potential redevelopment project down in the Surf District. And really, I think the genesis of this conversation was the Destination Iowa funding that was established by the state, and Governor Reynolds put $100 million into a new program to provide grants for what she refers to as transformational, shovel-ready kinds of projects. So I think they got that money from the American Rescue Plan Act, so they're putting that to work there. And again, this is to boost tourism and economic development opportunities, but also to enhance and promote the quality of life in our communities as well. So there's a division of this particular Destination Iowa program that we think a project in the Surf District would be tailor-made for. That particular component is called the Place-Making Initiative, so there are various buckets that are associated with funding for the Destination Iowa initiative. They're outdoor projects, outdoor recreation. We kind of thought about maybe our South 15th Street project might be an applicant for that, but after we kind of explored that a little further, didn't fit very well with that. But there'll be a lot of applications. I think the opening for the other buckets, not the placemaking initiative bucket, is currently underway. So I know they're probably getting some applications in now. But we know there'll be a lot of interest in that program. The placemaking initiative is a little bit unique. They're looking for maybe 4 or 5 kinds of signature type projects for the state of Iowa. And I think one of the targets is to have the ability to bring in visitors from outside of the state of Iowa. So I think given our proximity to Wisconsin, Minnesota, we're in a good shape to do that with the project down in the Surf District. It's also a great opportunity. I've laid out, some of you may not have seen it or spent too much time with this particular document. It was done in 2009. Mike and Nelson, of course, were on board at that time. But this is when we had RDG. We brought them on to take a look at the Surf District and a number of projects that we looked at in terms of infrastructure and streetscape and pedestrian plazas and right-of-way improvements and those kinds of things were identified in that plan. So we've got a good head start on doing initiatives and work down in the Surf District. We're still using that plan for different things. So what we've talked about here is bringing RDG back on to update that proposal, help us develop a application to the Destination Iowa Placemaking Initiative. And again, that would be a big part of that. So we've got a good foundation here, just needs to maybe be updated a little bit with some new projects and new opportunities that we can take advantage of. So the feasibility report from PayTech, so this would involve a new hotel in the Surf District area. So the work that PayTech would do, you'll recognize her name. She's the consultant that we worked with previously on a hotel feasibility report for the hotel out by the interstate, Marriott Fairfield Hotel out there. So she did a nice job for us on that. Again, that was about a $13 million project. Looked up the taxable value of that. It's about $9 million. So it's right behind McKesson as the second highest valued property in Clear Lake for tax purposes. So again, her work led to a pretty nice project there for us. So the cost of the proposal from PayTech is $10,000, and she would be able to start on it right away and would be complete in about 60 days. So I think that would work very good with us in terms of being able to work with RDG to develop an application for the placemaking initiative on the Destination Iowa. So I think it's an exciting opportunity for us and continues again to build on really obviously the legacy of the Surf Ballroom. We had a good opportunity to visit here a couple of weeks ago with some folks that certainly are influential in our state about this kind of a project and very supportive. I think a lot of nice positive comments about this very type of project. And so I think we would have a lot of attention. They'll fund I think up to 40% of a project, so that's certainly positive. And it's one of those things I think I've shared with you before, Clear Lake, because of our strong financial position when it comes to competing for grants, we just don't compete. We have almost no debt whatsoever. I have to tell you my Michael Gardner story again. And you're going to hate it again, but you're going to get it again. So it was Mark Hewitt and me and Tom Lovell. I'd sit there with Michael Gardner having lunch one day, and we're talking about he was the head of Vision Iowa at the time. And we're talking about making an application there. So I expected it, and he asked what our tax rate was, what our debt limit was, a few other things, then laughed in my face and said, don't ever come with a project to us again. You know, and so we just don't, where we're at financially, we just don't compete for those things. We have to have something. Really, the only grant of consequence that we've got in my 21 years here was, as Mike always refers to, the Holy Cow grant. But we had to have a biblical flood in order to be able to get it. You know, and so that was the area where we did a lot of infrastructure work in this particular location, because, again, we have no debt. We have one of the lowest tax rates in the state. We're just in a really, cash reserve-wise, a really strong position. Our utility rates are among the lowest in the state, so we're not going to get much help except for these kinds of unique, once-in-a-lifetime, generational kinds of opportunities. So when this came out, we kind of had some conversations. Said this is one of those opportunities that you know, you don't have to be destitute. You don't have to show that you've got high tax rates, high utility rates. You're in debt up to your eyeballs. So we think we can just go on the merits of our project here, which is really good. We've got in this area the linchpin, of course, being the surf ballroom, and talking about, again, the National Historic Landmark status, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame status. These are certainly things that we can use to embolden a grant application to this program. I think be very, very well received, and obviously the attraction is well beyond Iowa, Midwest, but internationally as well. So we think we got a good project that would involve the development of a boutique-style hotel. You know, ultimately, the work that Paytech would do would form the basis for what kind of hotel, how many rooms, the pro forma, just many of the, well, almost exactly the same kind of work that was done for the previous project out at the interstate. So that's all I've got on that, unless anyone has any questions.
She does a very thorough job,
Yep,
as
very
I
thorough.
recall that last one, you know, based on supply and demand locally and regionally, and then even gives a, as I recall, a statement of what the operating results
Oh,
could
yes,
be.
yep.
And so
Yep.
it's very good.
Yep.
Very
When I spoke to her, I had anticipated maybe it would take her a little longer, and she said, well, if you had called me about 6 months ago, it would have been, but so many projects, because of the supply chain issues, because of the exponential increase in construction costs, have simply been put on hold. So she said now's a good time for her.
Any other questions, comments, Council?
Yes, Mayor, I just want to say, first of all, this is a tremendously exciting opportunity for Clear Lake, and I want to thank the North Iowa Cultural Center and Museum and the Snyder family for bringing it forward, and I think it's just an incredible opportunity. As you've said, Scott, you know, the surf district and the surf itself is such an iconic venue for us. It's so important, and I think what's so exciting here is, again, another opportunity for a public-private partnership. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this extends clear to the federal government with the initial funding, right?
Yes.
And then the state of Iowa with the grant, and then our participation locally. So, again, it seems kind of tailor-made to the grant that was put forward in Destination Iowa. I reviewed that website today, and so I think, again, just a very exciting opportunity. We'll look forward to seeing how the study plays out, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't be incredibly positive, so.
I should add to that, that while they're currently taking applications now for those other buckets, this particular funding source probably, we're looking like at a November probably timeframe for submittal. So in talking to some folks with the Department of Economic Development, they basically said, with this particular component, we want you to take your time. And there's a big rush kind of right now in these other funding categories to get applications in, because it's kind of on a first-come, first-served basis. So this one, they had said, take a little more time with it, and so we're going to do that. And so I think that will give us, lays out really well for Paytech to do her work. Hopefully it's very positive, and then RDG, we can bring them on board to probably have that next meeting to update the Surf District plan, which again, as we talk about, as I mentioned, Mike and Nelson were on when we did this one, was 09. comprehensive plan that we're updating is '08, so we'll continue to use this, but just need to refresh it, update it with a lot of the changing landscape. There's a lot of things that have changed down there in the last 12, 13 years.
Right, that's a great point. And I would think, too, at the state level, they would, of course, be impressed with how we have invested in this district over the years. And so this would be a continuation of that effort. So, and as you said, the timing, I think, is excellent. Gives us plenty of time to do the study and prepare that. So thank you to everyone for being here tonight and for their work on this. I look forward to seeing how it goes, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Little historical perspective, which, as you know, I can't help myself. The Oaks Hotel isn't coming back. That one burned down there a long time ago. And I guess the Swan has undergone some changes too. Nibs Nesbitt and his Surrey Jeep is long gone, so maybe it's time for something new down there.
Thank you.
I was going to have, only guy I like to hear listen to talk more than myself is Jeff, so I don't know. Jeff, did you have anything you want to? Yes.
No.
Go right ahead.
I echo what you're saying here. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And did I get hung up on or something?
No, you're fine.
I mean, this is incredible, and as the North Iowa Cultural Center and Museum Board, we stand ready and willing and able to support. We support the surf. Our star is the surf, and the surf supports the community and all of North Iowa, and we stand ready, willing, and able to push forward and see anything that we can do to make this project go. And I just got goosebumps when you were talking, Bennett, and when Scott was talking. This is just an amazing. We all love this community. And our goal is always to make the surf the best that it can be. And if this helps us and helps this community, we're all in favor. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm just a little disappointed I'm not goosebump worthy, but I guess that's the way it goes.
A given. All right, therefore, I entertain a motion to approve professional services agreement with Paytech Hospitality Consultants with regard to the hotel feasibility study. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mark, that we approve professional service agreement with Paytech Hospitality. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate that. Chief, report. Welcome, Chief.
Council, in the back of your packet, the blue sheet is our April 2022 report. Nothing really stands out there. We were down about 70 calls for service. Yeah, we're about on track for what we did last year for April of 2021. I do want to draw your attention that we'll have two notable events taking place before the next council meeting, which will be the Relay for Life, which is not a race, and the Try. And Stacy's here, so she can answer questions too if I'm not able to do that. But in the last council meeting, we had a letter from the chamber in there talking about street closures, signage, and just sort of the race route. And I wanted to know if there was any questions about that. I know in about a week or so, there'll be 3 big message board signs that will appear talking about South Shore being closed. North Shore will also be closed around Buddy Holly. Traffic will be kind of rerouted in that area as they do a turnaround over there. I know that the event has gotten permission from the county to close off South Shore all the way out to Balsam. So there'll be volunteers out that way, but we're doing everything that we can to publicize the event. The maps for the closures will be out on our social media here within the next week. Didn't want to put them out too early because people don't look at that until it really gets closer, but just want to know if there's any questions, and if not, I'm always available to talk about that. We've worked really diligently with Public Works, with the county sheriff's department, and the organizers to kind of make this hopefully a very safe and enjoyable event. And the second one is the Relay for Life, which will be June 3rd, which is a Friday night. At first, they did not want to have any road closures, which is why you don't have a special event packet to look at. But they are requesting to close that North Lakeview, that little U area down there by the city park, from North Shore, South Shore, all around North Lakeview, and then a little bit down by Mike's neighborhood there on North Lakeview to about Second, sort of close it off to through traffic and then divert them up Second Avenue North. And just want to know if there's any problems with that. We won't have any issues with putting that up there and some temporary no parking, but the event starts around 5 o'clock, and then I think the actual band starts playing at 6. So I just want to know if there's any questions on any of that. Otherwise, we'll just proceed and close that off like normal, and unless there's any questions from the council.
You're in charge of weather for the Tri?
So, all right.
That includes water.
They have it tore up and they have the footings are put down, but it actually is gonna look really nice. So, yes, if you notice, our main entrance was closed today. Eric Vorlin came over and ripped up our old sidewalk, thanks to the city, and as you can see, they're actually gonna make it a little bit easier to kind of get in. It was kind of a circle, turned at a real big, good angle. He's gonna kind of straighten it out a little bit and make it a little bit easier to get in and nicer for us. So we're excited about that, so.
Any other questions for Chief? Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Director of Finance, Administrative Services, Creighton Schmidt, nothing? Okay. Anybody have any questions for Creighton? Okay, good. Public Works Director, Jeremy Kornberg. Welcome, Jeremy.
Just a couple updates on some projects we have going on currently. The water main and storm sewer improvement project that started last year is continuing. They have finished all the paving, I believe, on North 16th and First Avenue North, so that's all been opened up. We got to clean up the road a little bit. We got to do some sweeping and whatnot to clean it up a little bit and get some backfill and whatnot. But the paving is done, so the roads are open there. All the paving on South 11th and 8th Avenue Court is done, and they're down there coring out, and they are backfilling with topsoil now. So hopefully here in the next week, they'll have both of those locations backfilled, so we can get the landscapers in there to do some hydro seeding and get those checked off. And then Brian Nettleton Excavating has started down on North 12th Street and First Avenue North, so they started the removals, I believe, today. Sounds like it should just, hopefully, weather pending, with a couple weeks, they should be in and out of there, so. The other update would be the 400 block Main Avenue project, right up there behind the old Thrifty White. They have completed almost all the paving. I think they have a box out in the alley left. They poured the base for the pavers today, and hopefully should be able to place those pavers tomorrow or the next day. So they were picking those up from us today. And once those get put in, we should be good to go up there. We got the bollards all placed. We just got to get the wire, have electrician come in and wire those. But other than that, we should be set to go. Any questions?
Any questions for Jeremy?
I was just going to mention, I think Gary brought up at one of the meetings, we're going to go ahead and put that handicap parking stall, just kind of move it down one spot there. We can get it, it's a little flatter there. So, so that'll get done as part when they start doing the stripe. Now, they're going to add a few more. I think Jeremy had said maybe down some of the corners, at maybe a van or two accessible one down there as well. So should be an improvement.
Yeah, I can give so we're doing some of the uptown painting right now as well. This is an update. I think he started last night. He got pretty much most of the uptown done, all the white. What we're going to do is, and I talked to Scott a little bit today, is we're going to put a van accessible ramp or spot down in front of Wilcox on the corner there, since that's an ADA ramp, and then we're going to put some up on the intersection of 4th and Main with the bank and Larson's and the ice cream shop and Weathered Elements, kind of on the corners there. We're going to use those first spots as some handicap spots, and we'll get signage and it painted out and hashed out there. That'll give us 2 more van accessibles and just 2 normal handicap spots there. So.
Anything else for Jeremy, Council? Thank you.
Thank you.
Under Mayor's report, Stacy, do you have anything? Welcome. Stacy Dawn, CEO Chamber.
Mayor, Councilman, thanks for having me tonight. It's been a while, so I'm happy to be here. We've been chasing our daughter around all the track meets, and the last one is this week, so hopefully it goes well. Just an update, last week we had our ribbon cutting on the Wellness Center, so we had really great attendance. There were a horde of people at the Wellness Center celebrating that gift to our community. As I said, when we cut the ribbon, we are cutting the ribbon on a gift to our community, and I couldn't be more proud that Clear Lake now has a signature wellness center that will just continue to help, with the development of Clear Lake as a community. I also want to say thank you for approving the hotel feasibility study. I think the opportunity that we have in front of us regarding this placemaking grant is outstanding. We all know we have a gem in the surf ballroom, and so to have the opportunity to continue to develop the surf district area with the addition of 2 new restaurants and then some potential additional development is really exciting for the community, and excited to see where it goes. In regard to what we're doing at the chamber, we are entering event season, so we had our Earth Day event, and the Try is next weekend. We're going to welcome probably around 600 athletes to Clear Lake. Appreciate the ability to be able to close the roads. We know that is a huge inconvenience, but it is truly for the safety of our athletes. The fact that we can now close all the way through State Park is really just going to improve the safety of our race, and athletes talk about that. And when they come, they are, investing not just in a race, but in an experience. And Clear Lake offers an exceptional triathlon experience. I know as someone who's raced myself, Clear Lake stands out as one of the best triathlons in the circuit. It really does. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, it really does. We estimate that approximately 650 hotel rooms will be booked throughout the weekend. About 60% of our athletes travel over 90 miles to come to Clear Lake. They represent athletes from 15 different states. So this is truly a great tourism event for Clear Lake. It's getting people here who might not otherwise come here. And then right after the triathlon is over, that Thursday we'll start Thursdays on Main. So that is what's coming up. It'll be here and gone and fast and over before we know it, but we're excited about it. So unless anyone has any questions, that's all I have.
Thank God for spring.
Yeah, we had 2 hours of it.
Any other questions, concerns? Stacy? Thank you much, Stacy. We don't have Chad with us, do we? Nope. No? Under the golf course, I just wanted to mention that's open and going. Pretty good shape, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, great shape.
Seems to be doing well, and the membership seems to be on the up. Keep in mind, Council City owns that golf course, and it's served us well, and we certainly do appreciate the organization out there as well as the leadership. Well done, guys. I've been asked to mention by several groups, ABATE being one, that May is Motorcycle Awareness Month, and certainly we need to keep our eyes and ears out for those vehicles. And while I'm saying that, I think in our own community, as we have hit spring, and we have mopeds, and we have motorcycles, and we have golf carts, and we have UTVs, and we have scooters, and we have motorized bikes, and I can go on. But just be on the lookout and be careful and observe the speed limit. Certainly that 25 has meaning this time of the year. Not that it doesn't the other time of the year, but very much so now. I think we need to be much alert for others as well as ourselves. So, and once again, that wellness thing, Stace, I know you put that together. Well done. I was out there Saturday morning, and I harp on this intergenerational thing for that, and that was an excellent example Saturday morning. That obstacle course, I wished I could have gotten in on that. That looked like fun. Thank God I didn't, But the pickleball people, they were hot and sweaty and everything else, but that's great. Upstairs was full. That little child play area was packed. There were people filling out applications. I don't know how many of those got filled out, but it certainly was excellent PR for, as you said, Stace, a gift to the community, and well done, by the way. Mr. Flory.
Just a couple things real quick. I've got in your packet that brown sheet. There is a bid tabulation from the storm damage that we had at the All Vets Golf Course, as Mayor mentioned, the city owns. Out there, the roof blew off, basically, the shed, and blew out the doors and everything. So we got bids on replacing all of that stuff. That'll be covered by insurance. Snow construction was the lowest bidder on that, and you see the amount was $51,140. So working with him to identify when he can get there and get the garage doors in and hopefully get that back up to the way it should be. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about that. We're also, I know Creighton's working with the insurance folks to take a look at some of the other buildings out there for values for insurance purposes. We're probably a little light on this one, so, but they're taking care of it, so. All right, the next one I'll move on to is the Main Avenue tree planting. So this is 14th to 20th. We went and got a couple bid proposals for tree planting there. I think we had targeted maybe around 32 trees. We had some folks opt out, not wanting trees. So I think we wound up with about 23 that we're going to be able to put in. So these are about somewhere around $600 a piece. So lowest bid was from Country Landscapes here in Clear Lake. It was about $13,000 for these trees. That includes a one-year warranty and planting and all of that. The next bid was about $20,000. So, that was looking at a bid from Country Landscapes, probably a pretty good bid. But if you're good with that, we'll go ahead and get them authorized, and they can start on that. They've got a pretty short window to be able to do that. So I think that will look very nice, be in the right-of-way, of course, between 14th and 20th, and then we'll be able to get, I know Jeremy's got our banners up for the new decorative street lights there, and the banners are ordered and should be here pretty quick for that segment also, so.
If we get our typical drought summer, will the city continue to water
Yep,
these?
we water them with our truck, yep. The last thing I was going to mention, I did finally get back. It was probably about right on target with what they thought they would be, and I laid it out here tonight for you from the DOT. If you remember back in December, I think Gary was kind of the one that was most interested in this. It asked about DOT doing a speed study there on US Highway 18. Basically, they looked at the area between North 12th and North 20th Street, and in the email memo from the DOT, you'll note that it has a below average crash rate when compared to other U.S. cities of similar highway systems. So definitely the crashes were quite a bit. I think we're at, I think it says here 197.5. The state average was like 263 or something like that. So quite a bit lower than what the state average was for crashes. 100 million vehicle miles traveled is how they refer to that. So, and then the pages that follow that are just kind of the details on the data that they collected when they did the study. You can see there how many cars were there in the couple of days that they did the counts. But essentially what they've come back with is a recommendation that the speed limit be, posted speed limit, of course, is 45, and they're recommending that be increased to 50. And you can see, again, the number of cars and what the speeds were that they were traveling there. So generally what, learned this a long time ago, the DOT sets speed limits based on the 85th percentile. It's their traffic engineering lingo. And so the 85th percentile, as you'll see in some of the documents here, was 51 miles an hour. So average speed was 47. So I don't, does anybody have any thoughts on wanting to make any changes there or leave it alone?
It's up to us.
Yeah, this is just a recommendation. It's our call.
They're not going to recommend we raise it.
I do recall, however, back in Tom Lincoln's day, when that was changed from where it is now with the turning, there was another study done, and almost the 45 was held to be the speed that they felt, DOT felt, was correct at that time too. So this seems to me to be just reinforcing
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was said back then.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have, just like everything, there's engineering is a science, and they base it on math and something logical, and that's the 85th percentile, otherwise we'd just be plucking speed limits out of the sky, you know, so. Keep it the same, or what?
Yeah, just
yeah.
my opinion, Scott, I mean, I think, again, what's amazing about this is that it came back with a recommendation to actually raise the limit, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised by that.
Yeah. So, anyway, just my 2 cents. I think, you know, their recommendation is important, but I think given how people might occasionally exceed the speed limit, it might be prudent to simply leave it where it's at. Would that be your thought process on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, that's fine. I mean, it's kind of like, I think when you have, so the 85th percentile, come back to that again, that, generally what that means is people drive what they feel comfortable driving.
Right.
So that means 85% of the cars are driving about 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. So you could probably make it 75 and people would still drive what they feel comfortable driving at. So,
Right.
so I think it doesn't really matter. I think it's 45 or 50 either way, but. you know.
So, yeah, one thing I would like to ask the chief, if he has an opinion.
Not paying attention. Chief, it's your turn.
Chief, if I could have a minute of your time, I was just curious if you or the department had an opinion on the DOT study and just your view of it.
You know, they are the experts, and they do all the studies on that based on our crash reports. I know Scott and I have talked about this several times, and you know, well, of course, I don't really want to give it a suggestion, but I could see raising it, but, you know, the stop signs and all the businesses there, people are still going to go slow anyway because they have things to get to there, so leaving that it is still going to serve its purpose.
Okay. Well,
A lot of problems on 18.
yeah.
In those areas.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking with a potential new development out there with Emerald Edge, I mean, again, I think I would just leave it at 45, but I'll listen to the rest of the group, what you guys think.
I'd like to point out one other thing that happens there. With our athletic fields north of the highway, from time to time, we have a variety of folks that have the need to cross the highway. We have a variety of students that have the need to cross the highway, and I think a quicker speed limit through there just wouldn't make a lot of sense to me because, I mean, every once in a while I see some kid making a mad dash across the 4 or 3 lanes of traffic, and you know, the faster you're going, the more difficult it is to stop when that kid decides to ride his bicycle or dash across the road. So I just can't see where that'd be a real prudent thing to do at this time.
Anything else, council? What really needs to be looked at out there is that median that's in west side of Highway 18, North 8th Street. That's been there for a long, long time. Obviously, now we can all see that the old Pier 18 is certainly in a brownfield of its own, and nothing's being done with it because you cannot get across going from west to east, and there we sit with that. Their time might have been well spent there, but I'm sure that was a safety factor of why they put that in. So enough discussion on that. All right, thank you all, appreciate that. And we now need to, audience, thank you very much for being here tonight. We need to go into closed session. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to proceed to closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 20.17, Paragraph 3, to discuss collective bargaining strategy. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Dana, that we proceed to a closed session. Roll call vote. Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
And Bennett?